Testing. Oh, there we go. Now we got audio. Can I do split screen? This is the wrong one, though. Just put something over there like OBS. And it's configured for a smaller output. And this is mirrored. And I think I did that so that my head would be aiming the right way, but whatever. It's messing around with these layouts isn't worth it when I'm just trying to flow. I'm sort of in the zone. Had to do the microphone replug thing. Probably just do big screen for a second. Been working through a lot of shit in my brain, in my notes. Yeah, this registering data, it's like fingerprinting all the files and images and stuff. It is dangerous, but it could be, we could create some sort of anti-crime AI bot that scans content so that, you know, people can't get away with stupid shit. Now, does that mean you can't send private files? I mean, no, I don't think people should be required to submit all their shit. But I think for certain activities, like especially if it's important government stuff, if it's not personal, a lot of content could be kind of subject to public policy, I guess. Public policy. I've heard this one a lot. Public policy. This is about publishing. I mean, people are free to publish whatever they want, but there's like some strange spiritual funny business going on, in my opinion. But I don't know. It's just, I just feel like it's a bad game. It feels like a bad game. Too hard, too bad, so sad. Like, it's more like there's enormous opportunity. I just don't seem welcome to achieve any of it. It's not that I haven't had any success, but like, I don't know, if there's some sort of spiritual blockage on success. But I mean, it's definitely not like a royal or noble or, you know, like, I don't think it's hereditary. I don't know. Is there like a spiritual system? Just like a DNA is like genetic system? I think there's actually probably a strong indication that there is, if there are spirits, but maybe it's all more linked up with this biology than we think. I don't know. It's a good question. Like, is there a independent spiritual real life? Like, are we living in some sort of secondary fake life? Sometimes life feels strangely gamey. That's a hard one to grapple with. Like, if you're dealing with existential questions, like, what's the point of any of this? And yeah, when life starts to feel gamey, like there's maybe either people who know what's going on. There's that movie with Michael Douglas, right? Called Douglas. About like Kurt Russell. And isn't there another one who looks kind of like these two guys? I should create a facial doppelganger software. Facial doppelganger software. It's basically like facial recognition with as many metrics as possible. It's like skin tone, bone structure. They have the stuff, but it's like lookalikes. I'm sure there's a lot of people, like, government software could identify lookalikes where two people are like nearly identical. Now, probably harder, even if they have a lot of similar characteristics. There might be very striking resemblances, but just due to like, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe you could measure up a lot of that shit and get pretty goddamn close. Anyway, not everyone has a doppelganger. It's more like, well, Michael Douglas and Kurt Russell. Are these guys similar in some ways? Like, I think they're kind of just like, are they my dad's generation? I don't even know how old they are. I don't even know if they're the same generation. They just seem kind of before my time. And been in a lot of movies, but I forget. I was never 100% sure of their names and their movies, and so like knowing all the things, like what a crazy idea. Like, where the fuck do people learn all their shit and then act like I'm the dummy? Like, I ask people this, like, how can you act like I'm a dummy for not knowing something? People, like, laugh at me, right, for not knowing things. People are fucking assholes, and, I don't know, are there certain things that everybody should just know? Like, what if you've never actually heard a Britney Spears song? I mean, it wouldn't even be that unheard of these days, because, like, her music is old, and, I mean, it's not great or terrible. It's kind of catchy in some ways, but it's not like overly played anymore. So there's a lot of bands from the past. Well, so I don't know what I'm really saying. Kind of wanted to flow here, and the fact that it feels like a bad game is probably one of the biggest, most scariest ideas of all time. Because, like, if you really start struggling, then they'll show you that it's maybe closer to a game than you think. Maybe it's a business. Could I find that? I don't know if I could find that image that I used to have as a background. A space businessman. Man, not management. Thanks. Autocomplete. Yeah, we got a lot of space entrepreneurs. Probably a lot of them that you've never heard of. I've never heard of this guy. Like, alright, so a lot of people trying to do shit, and a few of them are the standout ones, but like, he's no fraud. He's a brilliant guy. Like, I don't know why so many people don't like Elon Musk. It's probably because they only see little bits and pieces of him. I mean, I'm not saying I love him, but like, he's certainly a human being. And no, there's a I completely forgot what I was looking for. It's like I don't know why this guy Luvisi rings a bell. And that's what it said on the bottom. Yeah, it was this one right here. It said Luvisi on the bottom. What is this? Dan Luvisi. Yeah, that's it. It's got like some strange lines here that don't completely line up. I'm not sure exactly what is going on here, but there's like solar system, what it looks like, and a galaxy in the background. It's all in front of this giant business dude with like horse hoof hands, two-toed hand there. That's what it kind of looks like, although there's kind of remnants of the knuckles. And this business suit with some like characters, glowing orange characters on the tie, some teal bars on the shoulders, maybe an orange necklace of some kind, which is, I don't know, not actually that cool. I don't know if I've ever noticed that before. Could somebody have added that? Possible, or possible I just never noticed it. But anyway, so thought it was interesting at least, and it said Luvisi, Luvisi, and I remember there's some story about what this came from, and I could do like a copy. Search with the Google Lens. There we go. Wait, what? A screenshot of the page? No, you just copy image. It's probably the same thing, but go to google.com because I don't think it works on the... Click on the image thing, Control V to paste. There, it does a reverse image search, or like... So people have remixed this thing apparently. What was the original one? I tried to figure it out one time because I used this as my computer desktop for such a long time. I did see that people were remixing it, and now it seems like there's Mr. Universe? I don't think so. There was a name for the guy, I thought. But it seems like we've lost. Be interesting to. Is that it? These are the only images? There used to be a lot more. That's crazy. How can shit disappear from the internet? Like you go looking for something and feel like you should be able to find it, but it just disappears. Well, we'll never know. Anyway, probably just get rid of this one at this point. Yeah, so my life is hard and awkward and bad, and I'm sort of giving up, and it's kind of sad. We're just here to feed the plants. Yeah, like whatever. Seems like oxygen is plant poop. Well, no, it's more like plant carbon dioxide. It's their exhaust. And bad for plants. We figured out how to recycle the oxygen into carbon dioxide. I don't even know if it does this create an energy. Is this a gain of energy? Is this a gain of energy? Is the CO2 that we breathe out more like an energy product, I guess, of the O2 that we breathe in? Let's see. This is a good place to put it. Yes, in a way. CO2 we breathe out is a waste product from how our cells use O2 to release energy from glucose. Our cells use O2 to release energy from glucose. I'd have to like see how that works. Like, what is the O2 doing to release the energy? Does it somehow like, if you put sugar in air, does it just start dissolving? I don't think so. I think sugar crystals will last on the table forever, or a long time. So sugar plus oxygen doesn't decompose. How does O2 release energy from glucose? Maybe it tells me, I just didn't read it, but simple process of respiration. Glucose plus O2, energy in the form of ATP plus CO2 plus water. So, yeah, the ADP, ATP like transformation, I think is just like this energy store where it charges up and then discharges, sort of like a little battery. And it needs to recharge the battery. It needs this energetic process, which is the sugar plus the oxygen. So we eat food and we breathe air and we create energy. We breathe O2, our cells use it to burn fuel. This releases energy. Are we really burning it though? I don't think there's combustion. It's like combustion, but controlled in inside cells. In combustion, like fire, sugar plus oxygen yields. So you can burn sugar, right? Yields CO2 plus water plus heat, fast and an explosive. I don't know if I'd say sugar when you light it is explosive. Doesn't it? It like caramelizes, right? I haven't burned sugar before, or I don't know if I've ever seen it. I probably have. In cells, the same basic reaction happens slowly in steps with enzymes. But like cells are in water, right? And you can't have fire in water. And but like glucose plus, how does this happen? Like, does the oxygen just, is there a machine that kind of like forces these things together and the oxygen break the thing into pieces? CO2 plus water plus energy. I mean, this is a pretty strict equation. Is this right? I'm assuming this is right, but when I'm just trying to add up the C's and O's and H's and whatever, and I don't know, where's the phosphate come from? I don't know if I trust GPT on chemistry. Well, so I was trying to think about how to use AI to create like systematic knowledge. So systematic knowledge with the help of AI. We basically need fact database. And by facts, you need to define what the fact means, sort of. It's like you should be able to dispute things. You should be able to... what is the word for consensus? This is a bad word. I hate spelling that one. Why does the red line take 3 seconds? Control copy, control paste, right click, wait for it. It's the same goddamn word, right click, consensus. Okay. Bolden that. That's not even close to bold enough. I can barely even see it, but whatever. Don't think there's much I can do about that. I think that's it. One letter consensus, I guess. What other words are CONS versus CONC? I don't know. Fact database. Yeah, so it's like if we as a people can identify truth, and this is not easy to do, but should be doable. Like, is the sky blue? I mean, I think usually it's not the worst. It's more blue than green, usually, right? Like, it's not always blue. But, yeah, it's sort of like when things happened, specific details like witness testimony, money. These are kind of like not necessarily like truth, but somewhat agreed upon. For example, if someone records a live video, it can be saved, distributed, like, and sort of like that generally accepted as like a real event. Yeah, I mean, real is important actually. Now that we see a bunch of AI stuff, having a stamp on stuff that says whether it's real or not, I think is, I mean, anyone could do this and claim things are real that aren't. So having like an actual trusted verification of data, I think, is important. And I think that's why I say truth, or really trust, is the most important thing in software and business. It's what everything else stems from. Like, if you can't trust who you're working with and what you're doing and that it's the right thing to do and that it'll work out and everyone's going to do their job and whatever, obviously trust is super important. So that's interesting. And it has to do with like trusting, well, when it comes to computers and computer security, trust is huge. It's like you're giving people the keys to the castle and you got to trust that they're going to do the shit. So fact database, yeah. Well, it's really about topics. And I think a simple file system could do the trick here. But if it's actually like a word database, then it sort of becomes, I don't know if it's not doable with Git. This is a good question. I think you can just spin up more computers. So like if you have too few computers running and they're going to have to like replicate and duplicate the file system and whatever. But if somebody wanted to do work on like, I mean, really you could have infinite read capacity, I think, on static assets. You might need like some load balancing bullshit if, but no, I mean, it's more like if I just start creating, if I have 100,000 entries, how many entries are on Wikipedia? I think there's like 2 million. How many? I should probably just Google this. How many entries on Wikipedia? So maybe it's better at facts and numbers now. Maybe they improved its ability to encode quantities. But as far as I know, like while the AI can kind of be like a knowledge base and have actual data, it's not like a database. Well, so let's ask Google. I mean, frankly, you should just Google, ask ChatGPT and Google all the questions and then compare the answers and then argue it out. 7 million. So that seems about right. What did this say? 6.8? And this said April, May. So it seems to have lost some articles from April to May, but yes, current exact number, please. I can't wait for your response. May 2nd. Is it this 111 number? Nope. Weird. Who cares? They're pretty close, and not sure what the discrepancy is, but like, does it matter? I mean, sometimes one could be the difference maker. Not usually, though. But I do think numbers are important. Like, why track the wrong numbers or like not be super clear when we're passing these numbers around what they mean? I think that's a big problem with information right now is it loses context. If you copy and paste a number, then it's like, well, what was that? So you should be able to more easily like drag this citation from here to your notes, and everything should be a little bit more fluid in terms of the interactivity and how it works. Interactive content is tricky. It's like you got to write special code to make all this stuff work, and these little highlighted parts are kind of interesting, but it's a little unintuitive. I almost think this one should be maybe each sentence is like a more of a block and has little hover regions on it. I don't know, it's interesting. Creating a better word processor that has like advanced features. Like what was that? Where you just okay, that's interesting. So I can reply to just this little string. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. That's like a UI thing though. Is it's like I don't know. Is that the way it should work? It's not a bad way to do it, but how is this? Is this actually like a pointer to that thing? If you edit the original, does it update this one? Is this like visually embedded in? Well, here, let's see. So it does kind of include it in the written log. But how does it encode that in a different way when it's accessing the API? I don't know. There's too many questions here about how this thing's working. But pretty useful, though. Not gonna lie. A little suspicious how advanced it is. Yeah. So the topic system is like, I need a better. Been taking a lot of notes about that and don't have like a. So the topic system would go into some sort of like better software page that could stay on my favorites. Better. I'm sure I have a lot of these, but let's just make a new one. Give it icon. Excuse me. I do like is this the Hamza? Yeah. I don't really know what this thing means, but it's pretty meta. It breaks. It's done that before, but it's like a two-thumbed hand with an eyeball on the palm, which is just kind of crazy. And we were gonna do a what was I gonna do? Oh, the topic system. So maybe I say OS. And should I do at OS? Because this is actually kind of starting to be a thing here, right? Topics would be, I don't know, maybe that's the Hamza. It's sort of like the all-seeing eye. Eye in a speech bubble. That's kind of crazy. Is that an eyeball? A Nazar amulet? What the fuck? That's kind of crazy. Yeah, so one of them has the topic. I think I linked this recently. Topic, user, level, and there's tons of these things. Holy shit. Topic times level tests, yeah. So you could have all kinds of systematic knowledge-based. Well, you want to visualize the topics, which is basically like use AI and Google image search and user submissions. How about like challenge plus reward? What if people could submit entries into a challenge and there's like some big prize pool if you could design the coolest visualization for any page? Handing out big money for these. I mean, can you use AI? Like, why the fuck not? Like, just use transparent cutouts and kind of compose them. You want to create meaning. You want to like put things in the right place, and people will be like, yeah, that's cool. Like, that works. And frankly, you can just create lots of little bits. There might not be one thing that summarizes, one visualization that summarizes something perfectly. And so if you have a number of them, and then people can kind of remix the ideas and kind of combine them, and in time, it becomes like crowd curated design. That's crazy. That's going to happen. Like, well, so then can you give people credit for building useful pieces? I think this is, all right, so crowd curated design. This would be like, I don't know why I'm doing this on such a small portion of my screen. Maybe something more like this. I think that's because I was using Notion alongside Figma, but that's a little much for streaming ideas. I don't know. It's hard for me to like force myself to work on shit. I can type up ideas, but on like a little note spree here. It's a 2-hour gap right there. That was dinner time. I don't actually remember taking these. Was I sitting here? Yeah, I guess I did take those. I wasn't recording though. Anyway. What am I thinking? Crowd curated design. This is like, well, what I was thinking, this is sort of the modules plus licensing for 3D for assets, which is like 3D, video, photo, etc. And honestly, I think real should be more valuable than AI generated. So like a real photo is just, you could like put a little verification like stamp on there that says it's real, and maybe people can click it and then see that it's real. But if you're using it for marketing, you wouldn't want to muddy it up. But if people want to dig in and see who somebody is, and it's like, oh, it's a real person, and it does have the real approval if you look at the metadata. And maybe a lot of marketers lean towards supporting humans rather than computers. Now, if you're on a budget and nobody can tell anyway, and most people don't click on it, then who the heck cares, right? I think so. Well, the real point is if you can't afford to pay people, you could just reuse like the free library of images, or you could generate AI ones. Either way is like whatever. Who cares? That's the way I see it. Somebody said people get upset at AI. It does make some wonky like extra fingers or strange poses. It's just kind of interesting. AI is just a crazy like how the fuck did they figure out how are the computers so smart to draw like perfect faces with all the intricacies and then not good enough to not make some silly little errors. It's like, well, it's not actually smart, obviously. It's just, but somehow they trained it to just not make major mistakes, at least with faces, and that's crazy. How did they do that? I don't know. Maybe they had. I think they had people train the system where it would create stuff and then people would judge whether it was good or not, or maybe it built its own judgment thing where it could detect whether something was a real face or not, and if it's not real, then it throws it out, and it just learned how to brute force that equation. I think that's kind of how it works. Is it's just brute forced certain requirements, like being more like real faces rather than less like fake faces. So if and then it learned how to pass that test. So now it creates stuff that looks like real faces. But why couldn't they do that for everything else? I mean, I don't know. Do they have to train it on very specifically to reject bad drawings for all the different objects? And can it brute force all of those problems at the same time? Maybe that's the struggle that they're having, is that it's like the more kind of, well, I mean, it draws a lot of really good shit. Like it can do environments, it can do landscapes, it can do creatures, it can do, and it gets them oftentimes extremely like cohesive. It's like, it's not like it's just combining random parts of a lot of different things. And it sort of does, but it's like it all fits. It like stitches everything together properly. Like perspective and anyway, we could look at Mid-Journey drawings, but I gotta be careful. I have a lot of interesting Mid-Journey pictures, and I'm not sure I want to share them with everyone on the whole world, but right now nobody cares. That's pretty goddamn certain. Well, nobody cares until somebody does, and then all of a sudden it's like people might be critical of me, or talk bad about me about something I said, and then I got to deal with it in real life. That could be shitty. But whatever. So I probably would want to just be kind of on the down low. Just not be super internet famous. Just be kind of like, run some shit in the background. Create a company and not be a YouTuber. So that's kind of crazy, because right now I got my face everywhere and it's kind of shitty. But the good news is I'm not going viral like this, so I don't have to really worry about blowing up and saying a bunch of shit I regretted, unless somebody edits my shit together to make it look like I'm crazy. Maybe that'd be good for me. So the truth shall set you free, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly where I was going. I was taking notes earlier about modules and importing web modules in a visual way. It probably wouldn't be that hard. I have never gotten it like flowing this way, but essentially what you want is to be able to import anything. But like, let's say you defined a class and a view like called a package, like kind of a low-level management UI for what really could be anything, a container for anything, but it's sort of like an application. It can have its own tests, it can have its own content, it can have its own navigation, it can have anything, settings. And so a package is, well, it could also be as simple as like one or two functions, or even a string. So it could be pretty lightweight. It's really just like, what is it? I mean, it could be like having a variable inside its own package probably wouldn't be the most common use case. You could just have, well, but if you had a specific value that you wanted to like beam, like synchronize from one computer to another or whatever, like it could be a real-time kind of linkage package so that you could essentially publish. It'd be sort of like a stream that people could subscribe to. So you could set up or register the stream, and then people could subscribe to it kind of like independently, and then whenever an event was fired from the or like published, essentially like triggering something, publishing some data on that stream, then it would be, you'd have to probably set up some sort of, how do webhooks work? I'm not actually sure. I think you need a server listening for the trigger, and so for people to subscribe to a feed, you'd have to have an API up listening for it. I think that's the only way to do it, right? Like, or you have to poll the server for, instead of subscribing and getting, setting up your own server that listens for the response, you would have to set up a poll that would just constantly ping it. It's strange because most of the programming I've done has been in this like server client model where you're kind of just creating a web server that talks to a lot of clients, and they don't usually, well, they do subscribe to things, but it's kind of like probably like a WebSocket, short-lived, when you refresh the browser, it reconnects, and so the client kind of becomes the server, right? Like it's actually like a little program that's running and listening to the incoming data and drawing it on the screen, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, so I've never really thought about, if you didn't have a client using a browser connected to the web app, if you wanted to do pub sub type stuff with like simple web packages, I'm just trying to think this through, you'd probably need two servers, two kind of like back-end servers that are able to both, well, either publish and or subscribe. So it could publish and subscribe, or just publish, or just subscribe. Yeah. But man, like, I'm not the best API wizard, and there's a lot of APIs, and it's not always easy to deal with, and trying to integrate stuff is potentially a nightmare. I do think you could create once you got like a software system flowing where there was a lot of cool adapters you could use, so this web package system could be a pretty cool way to use my web OS, web packages. So it's like basically a simple UI wrapper around web modules, and so it can be files, folders, repos, modules, values, whatever. It can have panels, it can have content, it can have navigation, it can have config settings, and it doesn't have to have these things, but it's like simple usage. It's just import, and you could do this via one click on the, like, in the package browser. But you wouldn't even need to import it to try it, and so then, and you could kind of just copy a link to the URL, or it's really just like an entity, right? Like, forget URLs. If it's just like a Notion, once you have a thing, and I don't want to click on this because I'm not sure what that thing is. Oh my god, that thing. I don't think anyone can see that, but that's a horrible thing. It's probably the most horrible thing. Anyway, once you have... I'm going to delete this. That shouldn't even be on there. Alright, so once you have something like the WebOS thing... Why did the other one go away? I like this one. Then... Jesus, man. Simple usage. Import via one click in the package browser. Import via one click. Yeah, so it's like you're browsing packages and... Well, so this was a separate kind of idea. And then see the thing in your sidebar. So you could kind of just be, it's like, you know, any of these kind of UIs where you have the sidebar with these little icon items and you're creating something and you want to import something else, like a web module. It's got like import and export statements. It can be a package of functions, files, folders, repos, functions, classes. These are what modules are, right? Values even. But then UI stuff like panels and content and navigation and config and whatever. Yeah, I mean, my WebOS can do all that kind of stuff pretty easy. Like, I could make a lot of these things. But I haven't got around to it. I don't know. It's like, I've been working on notes and stuff. Been distracted. Like, wanted to create a video game. And I did. I kind of made a flying game. Took a lot of notes about it. I get on these rolls where I have motivation to work on something and I run with it. Anyway, web packages, really good idea. You could do video, layers, vectors and stuff. So this would require a timeline. I made a note about something about worlds and timelines. Where did let me see if I can find that. Yeah, I mean an asset library. Libraries with licensing. If you're going to use like images and, yeah, obviously images, videos. Yeah, where did I make that note about? Oh yeah. Yeah, world versus a scene. So like Blender uses scenes. So like worlds, scenes, timelines. A scene is basically just a world with a timeline, right? Or multiple timelines. There's really not much difference. You could set up like settings or schemes where you want to call a world this and have extra settings or whatever for a scene and call it that and whatever. It's I don't know. Not really sure. I think we could make like a web IDE, and I call it the IDX. And it's really like the IDDDX. It's design data. Is the interactive design. I mean, an IDE is the integrated development environment. And the IDX is the integrated or interactive, but could be integrated, I guess. Instead of environment, it's experience. There's design, data, documents, and development, integrated development, experience. It's like Figma. It's like spreadsheets and DBs. And docs, presentation slides, or spreadsheets or whatever, and code and UI. So yeah, obviously our software is coming a long way and it's doing pretty good, but it could be way better. And I think, oh, that video about web relax, man, that's crazy. It's like, is life trying to tell me something to like relax about the web? What if there's a lot of people struggling to make websites? I mean, it's a pretty complex thing, and it's pretty easy to get wrapped up in it and make a little progress, and then realize, like, wait, we're crafting like highly complex user experiences with tons of pixel information all over the screen that needs to work properly, and we're doing it with code where it's like you're not even drawing. You sort of need to draw it first, which is not easy because then you have to learn the drawing tool, know exactly what you want to draw and where and how it's going to be laid out. Like, the technical skills to just get started are pretty goddamn high, and then the design space of what you could design is pretty crazy. Like, all software is different, right? Very different. And web relax, that was a crazy one. I think I watched that on this. Was it these guys? I think it was. I think it was on my phone though. Web relax.
I had trouble getting it up last night. That's why I got Web Relax. It's a fast-acting tele-relaxant that'll make her as happy as Pharrell Williams.
I asked my doctor about Web Relax.
I asked my doctor about Web Relax.
I asked my doctor about Web Relax, and he said no.
Ever since I've taken Web Relax,
So it's kind of a funny video. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing right now. It's kind of stealing content and whatever. But why is it Web Relax? Well, let's ask. Why Web Relax? Does anyone ask this? Guess I'm the only one. I mean, it was kind of funny, and it, like, I don't know if it matters what it's called, but it seems like nobody else is asking. Like, why not? Because it doesn't seem absolutely evident to me. Why not? So, this could be funny. I like his videos. But, I don't know, I thought about trying to make, YouTube Hangout that was something like show and tell, internet show and tell. You can show up and, I mean, frankly, that should be like an endless opportunity these days, right? Like, Discord show and tell. I mean, you could have not safe for work ones, but that would get kind of dicey, right? I don't know if I'd want to be hanging out with random people showing random shit that's not safe for work. It's sort of like, you might want to put your head in the sand sometimes and look at some weird shit, but not all the time. Web Relax. Should I get the URL just so I don't lose it? Control copy. Control paste. I think we just mentioned it. It's not going to ask me. There it goes. So, find and share cool shit on the internet. This could be a good idea. Like, you should be able to create and monetize the community just based on finding cool stuff. Maybe I create one called the Cool Patrol. And that's sort of the idea is like, find cool stuff, share it, give feedback. How cool is this? Like, actually cool or not at all? How about the Ninja Sex Party? Whoops. About the Ninja Sex Party. Cool? Not? Maybe? With who? Does that mean it's naked party? I don't know. Not sure. I'm not sure I enjoy the whole sex dynamic in real life. It's kind of weird. Well, it's like the best part, right? But it's also like confusing and awkward and just the source of all the embarrassing, not necessarily all the embarrassment and bad times, but a large percentage of just like that awkward, uneasy, just kind of bullshit. No, I mean, there's a lot of good times with it, I guess, like all the good times with it. But I don't know. That could work. The Cool Patrol. If you don't know it, look it up. It's Ninja Sex Party. Thought about making a YouTube video just stealing their song. It's not stealing it. I'd like give them credit for it, but playing their song and like, I don't know, trying to create a cool patrol that's like just a hangout group that shares cool stuff. I think that would really work, but I'd have to like change the branding and make a video ad and run money on it, and it's exactly what I'm doing, just in a slightly different way, and it'd be exactly changing direction and walking backwards instead of going forward. So I've thought about it a lot, but it doesn't kind of solve any of and the big thing is I kind of want to make money with these things, and okay, it sounds like a good idea at first as long as it's free and everyone's like enjoying the process, but once you start trying to make people pay money, then it just disappears and people go away. So still not sure what that is. The web IDE is part of the I think I wrote something down about a web IDE. That's why I just started thinking about it. But where did I write something down about a web IDE? I don't know. So I was going back. Oh yeah, there we go. Code Sandbox, Code Pen, and Code Mirror are the three that Code Sandbox, Code Pen. This is CodePen.io is a website. Code Mirror is like a JavaScript library. Code Sandbox, I believe, is an IO code editor that runs on Monaco editor, which is Microsoft's, I believe. And that's kind of cool. That's what the web IDE would generally be. But like, you want to have the underlying tool to do whatever you need to do, like the command line and the code editor. But you want to then build like interactive document systems where you can embed things and link them and drag them around and create layouts and do all that stuff. That's a pretty cool idea right there. What was this? Yeah, this is like, how do you patent a color? Well, like, you can't. It's just like a pitch. You can't, or yeah, it's just something natural. You can't obviously do that, right? So how do you patent a font? Well, if it's super unique, you probably, I don't know, is it your intellectual property? Probably for a little while, at least. And then maybe like, just giving a little bit of credit to the source of the design, if it kind of sparked a thing. The more unique it is, the less like commonly common it would be, well, I think it's more patentable. Like more unique equals more patentable. And so it's also songs, beats, instruments. Like how about photo effects or functions? Really? Like why not? How about equations, which are basically values? Like you shouldn't really be able to patent ideas, I don't think. Can you patent ideas? I mean, you should be able to get credit for them. You should be able to get credit for good ideas. I think we can create a system to value good ideas, give credit, and build up that knowledge. That's the idea behind this systematic knowledge thing with AI. So it's like, it's really about the topics, and you need topic organization. Is it a new topic, subtopic, sibling topic? How does it relate, etc.? I mean, in these questions, I'm not actually 100% sure all of the different ways two different things can relate. So, like, I mean, the Venn diagram approach is like inclusive, exclusive, like overlap or whatever, but then relationships are like same. If two libraries share the same language, what does that mean? Like maybe nothing. Maybe they're just both linked to that language, but there's really not much. Well, there could be like adapters or like overlapping code space. I mean, that's what an adapter, API, or whatever. Like, how to use this thing with that thing. Well, that's a whole another. That's for code, but like, I don't know. Sports. Do different sports share things in common? The question is basically, how are two ideas similar or different, and to what degree, or like in what way? So I think that's kind of tricky. So for the record, my daughter had kind of a meltdown today, and she's been getting hysterical more lately, and I'm not sure what to think about it. There we go. It's like she's acting like a 2 or 3 year old, and she's 5, and I don't know. Kids are strange. They do throw temper tantrums. Even my 10-year-old does, and I think that's just sort of normal, kind of what they do, although you don't really want to allow that to happen. You kind of want to discourage I brought these big drawers in here to put shit in there, and I just haven't really I put a few things in there. It's not empty, but they're like half empty, and I got a bunch of shit laying around. I should just start putting shit in there, but weeks go by and I just don't. I'm sort of like barely hanging on in life, and I feel like life should have a helpline where it's like, if you're really struggling, like, people should rally together to help each other out. But the problem with that is that then people become reliant on help, and I know how that is. Like, so if you're allowed to slack, if somebody picks up your slack, then you kind of just like, it's capable for you to slack more. I've been slacking a lot. Like, my wife's picking up my slack, and it doesn't feel good. But I don't know. I'm trying to hang in there, and in some way, it feels like my lack of, you know, accepting defeat and just doing the bullshit around the house is my resistance to, like, you know, do more of that is part of my spiritual battle. But it's like, I don't know. All this gamey bullshit, like there's some sort of hidden system and I don't know what's going on. I've been asking everyone. It's like, wait, I was taught all this like Christian bullshit and life's, you know, the spiritual journey and you fight a spiritual battle and don't give in to temptation. And I mean, I drink too much, smoke too much. I don't smoke. I take cannabis edibles, and it's so complicated and weird, and I just can't. It's like trying to tally up all the numbers and be like, wait, I think we figured this one out. It's not really how my brain thinks. It's a traumatic experience. It's so stressful, so much, and it's often like, I guess, following these sessions where I'm blasting off and then getting some motivation to think and work on web things or social media things or whatever. And I don't know, it's like I need help, but I don't want help, or at least I know people, there's nothing really anyone can do to help me except, well, you could believe in the idea and like some of my stuff. It's actually not that hard, but I don't know if I can convince enough people to do that. Been having a hard time. I'm kind of back and forth between trying to make better videos and working on like code shit again. Like I bounced between these so much, and then I let kind of like my brain decide by eating edibles and drinking some coffee and blasting off and seeing what happens. And sometimes it works, but I don't know. I'm thinking like probably have made a mistake posting all these depressing long videos, because I wouldn't be embarrassed per se if somebody watched them, but like if somebody I knew in real life started talking to me about these videos, like, hey, I saw that stream you made, that'd be kind of weird, right? Like, well, it wouldn't be weird. It would just be, okay, I don't actually remember what I said. I streamed for 4 hours a day for like weeks, and I got into some really kind of strange headspace, taking notes publicly, journaling, like just going through all the stuff that I'm dealing with. And so I don't think most people deal with stuff. Well, a lot of people deal with a lot of that stuff in their head, but like actually trying to work through it on paper and like nobody's live streaming that shit. So, and I don't even, like I said, I don't remember everything that I said. I don't really remember everything. Like, people might bring something up and be like, wait, what? I have no idea what you're talking about. And then, I don't know. I could always play that card. I like just play stupid. It's a pretty useful thing to do. Like, huh? What are you I don't remember. Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. I am losing my memory. I should say that more, because it's a pretty easy thing that I then fall back on if you don't want to remember something. Yeah, so living this crazy life one day at a time. I do feel like going to get some beer. It's 8:13. Is that drinking time? It's about drinking time for me, but man, I'm getting fat. I'm putting on weight. I'm like up 250 or so. I was down to like 208 a year ago, so that's probably the quickest rise in weight. It's probably at my all-time high, and it happened pretty quick because, well, I mean, it's always kind of a up and down. And I'd say when I went keto, and I didn't actually weigh myself in. It was more just like I think I was drinking too much again. I was definitely I wasn't vaping. Was I using the edibles? I think I was off and on using the edibles at this time. I can't even remember. Like, this was last year. I don't remember. I wish I had a visual of like what was going on last year so I could anchor. We should all probably have visual timelines of our years, right? Like, oh yeah, it was that year. Okay, now I remember all those things. I could create a visual timeline of myself, of the things that I've done. I've made a number line of like, I just overlaid my age on top of a calendar in like rectangular form. So it took a big space, but it was sort of like from my birthday to my birthday was like whatever number year, and then it was just sort of an offset repeating. I have to look it up. It's in Figma somewhere. It's not very important, but I was just thinking it would be a good idea to make visual timelines. Like Facebook claims that that's your timeline. Do you want to share everything on your timeline with everyone? Probably not. Maybe with your family, your immediate family. I mean, honestly though, yeah, you probably do want to share most of your photos with your family. I don't post shit on Facebook because like I don't remember who's following me. I posted a bunch of stupid shit on there at one point and don't really want people checking out my profile necessarily because I don't remember what's on there. I could go through and clean up a bunch of old photos, like with, I think there might be a photo of Tiffany, my ex-girlfriend, in there that, I don't know, like, should I delete it? I guess probably could, just to not cause any confusion, but I don't use Facebook. Don't really want to. Should probably just delete my account, honestly. But I do have like some connections on there, and I could lean on those connections at some point if I wanted to try and clean up my act and get clean up the act. If I wanted to like learn how to sell people shit, but in a way that is a win-win. Make money selling shit. Well, it's in the beginning. I need investment money. Well, I need people to take risk. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pay it back. I don't really want to take on a loan because I still have student loan debt, and paying off debt is just no fun, and definitely don't want to bring on more debt. Definitely don't want to sell out to venture capital, which I probably should change that attitude, but there's too much work and money on the line. Like, you'd be stupid to sell out. And it doesn't seem like it should be that hard to find money. I could ask uncles for some money, but I'd have to have a much better idea of where I'm going with this. And so I'd have to put together a presentation, sort of like a venture capital presentation. And that's sort of like what I'm doing with the video stuff, is I've made a lot of presentation slides, and I could try and record like some better video and edit it down and make it actually seem a little bit better. But man, I posted a lot of crazy videos about me being mentally unstable. Are investors going to want to know that I'm barely hanging on? I don't know. They should know the truth. So it is a gamble, but I think $10 a person is like pretty low risk. I mean, I can't promise big rewards for everyone because like that's just not smart. So would you loan me $10 to maybe get $11 back in the future, or maybe 20 if I can swing it or whatever? I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna have any of it left. So that's kind of the crazy thing. I mean, I could create like an experience for, premium subscribers or whatever. And I've thought a lot about gaming that whole thing to make it worth the while, but oh man, the mastermind community kind of just seems like a pain in the ass, and I should probably just make this shit myself. I don't think I'm actually that far away from making shit. I want to play a game of chess, because why not? Never streamed chess before. Thought about it, but I'm not very good. Discord, what do you want? Get out of here. My fucking start menu is broken. Why can't I click this? Do I just need to refresh? Maybe this is a problem. There, new game. That was quick. Holy shit. Is this a bot? Maybe I'm playing a bot. Could there be bots on chess.com? I mean, they have bots built into their app, so like it would make sense. So I like to play without thinking too much about it. And oh, you're giving me a pawn? Okay. Should I just do one of these, or I could already go here. I didn't even see this one, but that could be a trap with the rook, and defend it, and then he tries to kick it or something. Do I think better while I'm streaming? I think so. Why did I do that? I don't know. I didn't need to do that first. See, I don't really think. I just kind of like... The more I start thinking, the more I just overthink it. And then it's like, I don't know, just throw some pieces around and see what happens. But that's what makes it fun. You like, I mean, getting into trouble sometimes I think is fun. This is a bad move. I should have just taken the pawn, I think, and then tried to defend the knight. I could go here. Oh, that's a checkmate. Holy shit. Okay, fine. Now my bishops are all trapped in. This isn't good for me. I shouldn't have done this pawn. That was kind of stupid. I think I can push this pawn forward and then... whoops. No, don't do that. Push this pawn forward, and I don't know if I want to trade queens or if I... Maybe we try this one now. Or can I take this one now? He's only got 2 on there, and I got 2 as well. I think we can do this. I gotta be careful. I'm on my queen. Can he then checkmate me? Now that my queen's gone, it's not checkmate, but that's a dicey situation. So, oh, I like that one. Well, this kind of does the same thing. And then my knight winds up there to help defend it. I like that. Okay. Yeah. Is he going to move his rook over? How about... No, that's going to ruin it. Actually, that could work. Why did he move his knight there? I don't know. Do I want to do this? If he takes... No, that wouldn't be a good take for him. Ooh, okay. Definitely not taking that. No, I could, though. Got the bishop there, why not? Does he have to take? He doesn't have to. Oh, I see. I didn't even see that. Whoops. Okay. Don't think I had an option there. He's beating me on time. It's not good. What was that? My knight. I can take that, right? My rook comes at me. Is that bad news? He would have this spot if I move my queen. And then the king can come up though, so I think that'll work, right? Let's play it out. How about right here? Actually, this is a good spot, right? Threaten the bishop and the rook. I don't know. Let's find out. The bishop's guarded, but he could put the rook down here. Either way, I jump up here and then probably down there, or I don't know. This is getting really weird, but let's see what he wants to do. Point wide. Oh, I'm up 5 points. I didn't know that. I think he gave me a piece. Have to go up here. I don't think he's got any moves here. He's probably gonna bring this rook over here. But the bishop's got that spot. Now I can do. Can I do one of these? No, the pawn doesn't work. It's blocked. Wait, no, it's not blocked. No, I'm seeing things. If he takes with the bishop, my pawn takes. He might do this, but I think we can do that. Oh, I don't like that. That'll work though, right? Why not? Oh, he can put the rook here, but then I can do this. I don't think this is terrible. I think it frees the rooks. And I do have this bishop lingering here. Okay, how about one of these? I don't know. Maybe it's a bad idea. Well, so if I take this bishop and he recaptures, then he leaves the rook stranded. Okay, he probably sees it. Can I do one of these? I don't know what I'm thinking here. He could check me again. Fine, whatever. I want to get out of this spot. I want to move down, but I gotta defend this bishop. Alright, whatever. I don't have time for thinking. I think that's a trap, actually. Oh my god. Alright. No, that was stupid. Jesus Christ. Is he gonna take it? Okay. No, that was stupid. 15 seconds is not enough here, folks. Can threaten that rook. Guard my pawn. I think we might just run with these guys. Let's go here. 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 I don't actually know where I'm going. I'm just trying to feel this out. Ooh, I think we want this one. Don't think he wants that. Now we get to push all the way. Oh no! Fuck. God damn it. I'm so bad at this game. It's a game of perfection. He's gonna just... Oh, thank you for that. Okay, take it. I'm guarding there. I don't think that matters. Oh, I can do... Oh, that was bad. Fuck. God damn it. Is this a good idea? Don't know. I think I can queen and then guard it. I think he has to take it actually. Oh. Oh, I could have taken that. Which one? Which one? I don't think it matters. Can I do them both? Is that a loss right there? No, it's protected. this in the optimal way. That's not a draw, is it? I don't think so. That's game time. Wait. Does he pop the pawn? Yeah. There we go. Whew. And those are kind of stressful, not gonna lie. It's like, probably don't want to do that again right now. Should I go get some beer? I think I'd be a much happier person if I went and got some beer. The usual beer from the usual store? I don't know, man. Should create a beer drinking club where people send me beer to try, and I get paid to just drink beer, sit around and drink beer. Wouldn't that be an idea? I think there's a lot of opportunities like that. Well, so let me see here. Can you create... The question was, can you create value with something like Pokemon cards? Or can... It's more of a rhetorical question, because I don't really feel like hearing what the computer has to say, but can you create, like, value? Can you magically, via collectibles? Well, it's sort of like only if people actually want to collect them, like baseball cards or Pokemon? Is there a better spelling? Okay, whatever. Pokemon cards. If not, then whatever. So, let's see here. So the topic organization UI, it's basically, yeah, generating these topics. I was thinking AI could help out with this, but I feel like it's simpler. Like the questions are kind of just like parent-child versus related. So oftentimes those relationships are based on like similarity of certain things. Like how is JavaScript related to CSS? It's like it's not completely unrelated, but they're actually quite related in that they're web codes. But they do very different things. Like if you know what JavaScript and CSS are, you'll know that they're often working together. Sometimes they're working together. Really, JavaScript is sometimes adjusting the CSS via adding and removing classes usually, but sometimes JavaScript generates CSS, but they're generally kind of they serve different purposes, at least like the type of code that you're writing usually in those things. One of them is logic and behavior. That's the JavaScript, and then you have the presentation stuff, the CSS. So while there's definitely some overlap, but they're also very different things. It's not like, so JavaScript and Node, how does JavaScript and Node.js relate? It's like much different question. Node.js like is a JavaScript runtime essentially, a little JavaScript virtual machine essentially that has APIs that JavaScript can use. Before that, like JavaScript wasn't really a useful programming language because it wasn't able to do file system things. It could do web things pretty well actually. And I think it's a pretty decent language, like pretty easy to learn, pretty easy to use because you can do a lot of things in a hacky way that are just kind of simpler and easier, like non-typed stuff. And I don't think it's a problem. I think it's plenty fast enough. So anyway, what are we talking about here, man? What are we talking about here? Topic organization. So this is like, it reminds me of that Substack. What kinds of things are you... Man, Substack's topics. Substack's topic, like, form is crazy. So many intricate topics and subtopics. So many. Like, it was crazy, and kind of a bad UI for it. So it was like, wow, you're just mashing me with thousands of these questions in this, like, weird... It's like somebody, they had the original one, and somebody's like, well, we should probably have more of these, and how are we going to fit that into what we have? And then it just all became clusterfuck, and it's really not easy to re-engineer new web app stuff. You got to think it through a lot. I think that's where the WebOS can help package things up and ship them. Yeah, so like if the WebOS was like the software things, this is just a note in Notion. And so I can't like do anything with it. It's not like a program. And the WebOS is, this doesn't exist yet. It's just an idea. But the idea here is if you could import things like, the WebOS or an image or any of these things, files, folders, videos, all your stuff, your projects, your contacts, whatever it is. If they were all like these kind of tangible digital things and you could organize them and change how they look and kind of link them up to do whatever you want to do, you're kind of creating your own like database of words. And some of those words are like, here I have Discord here. Like this is like a word that means something very specific, and it's a company, it's a web app, it's a thing. So making your own web dictionary doesn't have to be so hard. It's like a collective, collaborative thing. And having web packages to create all of the web things would be obviously very useful. And it could work a lot like Notion does here in terms of just having a bunch of things that you can drag around. Now, I don't do much drag and drop organization, to be honest, because Notion's not really good at that. So I don't know, I could try and show you what drag and drop looks like in Figma, which is a little bit more visual, but it's kind of, I don't know if I'd say less structured, but I guess like the thing that's kind of part of the nice thing about Notion, I guess, is that really it's just a log. It's like the time frame, and so I can kind of try and find things based on how long ago it was, and and the titles, and then the expandable content, so I can kind of dig into things and then come back to the surface. The icons are kind of cool, but I wish I could I do have a gallery view in here that's I don't usually there's not good previews. I mean, it does give a preview, but I don't stop to read the previews here. I mean, sometimes sometimes the titles that show up a little bit bigger are actually kind of useful, but you only get a few of them. And actually, it could do these little mini previews for the whole thing, really, and you could just have longer notes. I don't know. I think having a configurable view, so you can kind of zoom in, it's really what you want to do, is you want to zoom in and out. So when you zoomed in further, you'd see more information. When you zoom out, it just kind of when it gets too small to read, it just disappears and kind of collapses. I think that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like these things we've already figured out, and if you saw how it worked, if you saw the software of the future, you'd be like, yeah, obviously, that's how it should work. Or at least just there's a few options. It's not like there's only one way to do it, but there's certain options that feel clunky, and some things like multi-column workflows seem really cool, but sometimes things pop up in these modals, and oh man, my brain is having a hard time focusing. I kind of think a trip to the store to get some beer would be a good idea. I'm getting fat. Don't really want to be just drinking endless amounts of beer, but and once I get started, it's hard to slow down. I haven't really thought much about this. I've been kind of just accepting defeat on this one and being I don't know, I don't go to the gym and play basketball at all anymore. I haven't been in months. I've been trying to run again, and that's been painful because I'm overweight, and I don't know, it feels good usually when I'm done. I'm often kind of running before I shower, and I'm not showering as much as I should. put off the shower until like you have to do it, and then it's I got greasy hair and I'm running around the block in like a dirty undershirt that I've been wearing for 2 days, and I mean, it's not like really dirty. It's just getting a little stink and wrinkled up and shit. This camera's not the best. I was thinking about building a studio that's more like a club. That's actually a really good idea. So let's flesh this out. Kids could be home soon. Oh, let's go back to the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. So a studio club. I mean, I was kind of thinking this could be like a hotel and theater. Hotel, theater, dinner theater. Like, obviously, with like nice seating, like suites. You'd want to be able to like, well, you could have different levels of, but I do think having like a big space where you can have really nice suites, and well, if you want to do a dinner experience, you can't have people crammed in because they need space to be able to put the food and drink. And I mean, although I have been to a couple dinner theaters that have a pretty minimal amount of space, it's just it gets crammed in and it's not as comfortable. It doesn't have to be a massive theater. It's more just like a place to get started, right? And this, I mean, it could become more massive, like football stadium style, but could be just kind of like a warehouse. No, but if you're going to build like a hotel, obviously you'd need like a custom built building, but it doesn't have to be fancy. Needs to be big. But I mean, what if the thing just doesn't work? You need a commitment of people who would want to pay to use it, and even like a waiting list so that like it's like pre-funded. Like make a waiting list so it gets pre-funded. So essentially, members are already set up to pay monthly once construction begins. And then obviously you don't want to mismanage it and whatever, but it'd be pretty just concrete jungle kind of architecture. Large spaces, gyms, obviously fitness stuff, but you could have basketball, sports, pool. I was making notes about a, here it's right here, having to be open right to it. This is a really cool idea here. This is kind of the same thing. My notes are indoor swimming fountain. I should just take a picture of this. I haven't got a workflow. Oh my god, Shift F, please. So I was writing down lap pool, hot tub, but it's called a swimming fountain, so that's like a probably chlorinated, although I think there's other ways to keep the water clean, and I don't know if chlorine's the best thing, but chlorine's, is that what gives it that blue color, or is that just the color of the like painted pool? I don't actually know that. Maybe pool water's clear. I don't know. Lap pool, hot tub, waterfall. I think the rec center at Mizzou had a waterfall. The export I go to has kind of a waterfall sometimes, but doesn't always work. Steam room. I haven't been to export in a while. Yeah, I don't know. I wrote $10 a day. I was thinking about how much you could charge for like a resort where it was kind of like this a la carte. I don't know. Getting charged by the day is kind of. If you set the charge where it's like, I don't know, an hour's worth, and on average people are going to use it about an hour, then some people get to use it all day and some people pay too much. I don't know. Does it encourage more or less use? I don't know. I mean, yeah, little daily chunks like this, because I wrote down a whole bunch of things like Could you have a $10 bar where it's like unlimited drinks? $10 per night, or it could be even per day if you like to drink early. How many of these things would you add on? Like you could set up customize what you're into. Like if you don't drink, then maybe that's not your thing, but it kind of helps people buy into these things. So I was thinking you could make it a hotel. Where it's just like minimal fees for like what you're getting, and it's just all itemized. So in terms of accounting and trying to figure out how much this stuff costs, well, so this wasn't obviously I don't know, you'd probably just want to have a room fee, like price per room. That's all people really care about. So it might have to be more like 20 or 50 or whatever. I didn't think this through all that much. It was just kind of flowing through me. But I was thinking all you can eat for a restaurant, spa, fitness, gym package. I don't know if you'd want to charge people for these things. I think a lot of times you just want to let people use it, you know, right? Like if they have to pay money to use it, then do you use it more? You actually probably do. How about daycare? That would make a some sort of like resort destination or whatever. It would make it really nice if it had great daycare. What is great daycare? I mean, you could talk about all the things like activities, experience, photos, like confidence or trust, and I mean, you might want to check in on them. Check-ins. You could drop in virtually from your smartphone to see what they're doing. Like classrooms could have, you know, streams where if your kid's in that class, you can get access to the stream to see and listen to what they're doing. You could have like optional like crafts, sports, or whatever they want to do. Like as they get older, it's like a little university type scene where you can go places and do things. And as a kid, it's like that freedom to just get out and go hang out and go do things and have fun and kind of like be more like an adult, right? Like kids could start doing that if there was a safe place for them to actually do it. I don't see any harm in it. They'd probably really enjoy it, and then parents can get time away to do things that they want to do. So, well, and frankly, this is kind of like a optimal life setup, because people who have to jump through hoops to find daycare, like forget daycare, like any daycare that, you know, it's costs way too much and is a pain in the butt to deal with, I guess. Now, granted, providing great daycare is not cheap, so you have to pay people and deal with diapers and punks and whatever. So, but this is kind of what I was thinking. And then, like on the hotel, so the dinner and theater part is it's sort of I should probably split all these out. We already got a hotel down there. Dinner and theater would be sort of like either a screen or stage seating with tables and service. That's optional. But I do think eating while seeing a show is like much more value if you can combine the two into one. I mean, not necessarily, but like if you have to go eat and then hurry on to your show, like it's just a little bit, I mean, I guess there's enough time, and usually you don't want to be sitting in a show for so long that you don't have time to eat and watch the show in one night. So it's not absolute. And maybe not everyone wants to eat while watching a show. I just think kind of the dinner theater type setup is, maybe it's not, let me just write this down, because I've thought a lot about the dinner theater and was thinking, like, obviously, like dinner theater is obviously better than no dinner theater. I mean, not necessarily, especially for like big acts, I guess. Like if you're going to see like Joe Rogan in person, for example, you want to go see Joe Rogan, you don't want to be eating food and missing his jokes, right? Like, so, but if you're watching a movie and it's just like, you know, whatever, you just want to enjoy it and drink some beer and like, and you could do this with, you could actually do this to scale. I was kind of thinking like the whole Airbnb movie theater experience could be kind of interesting. So you like go to a house and I don't know, but like renting a house is way too expensive. It's, I guess what you don't want to cram 1,000 people in a movie theater, I don't think, because there's just more farts and sounds and like, I don't know. Bigger theaters aren't really better. It's probably better for the business. I don't know. I mean, I need a studio where I can interview people, and so why not have an audience? And then, you know, you could have that set up like, well, having little tables where you could serve dinner would be kind of cool, especially if you could hire cool chefs and have a nice kitchen. And if you could do that at scale. So how could you design dinner tables at scale? Especially if your system could be either less seating, like maybe remove seats and add tables. So frankly, in that sense, you really just want like a 2-tiered ring. Man, could I get in Blender and whip some shit together? Well, first let me draw this in Figma. In fact, that's probably how I would do it. I'm not good with studio dining. All right, let's see. So I think there's a donut tool in this thing. Let's see. It's probably just this one. Arc? No. Wait. Or do you have to make an arc before you can do this? I think so. Okay, well that's fine because this is what we want. The sweep. The ratio. How big is your stage? Well, so it's really a ratio of stage to seating. Maybe 25%. You don't want a small stage. And this is where, all right, so how is the tiers going to come in? So the problem with if you think about the profile of the stage, and then, I mean, sometimes you'll have like a band in front. How does that go? They're like almost underneath sometimes, right? Are they underneath the stage? I think sometimes they are to just have more seating. And then the seats start at some point behind the stage. I'm sure there's people who do this for a living, right? They design stadiums and think about all these things. But if you want just a very simple setup, then you maybe have an elevated stage, but not even necessarily. What if this is just on like the floor? But I guess, okay, so thinking this through, the problem we're trying to solve is like elevated seating that stadiums and theaters have to allow you to see over the head of the person in front of you, especially tall people like me that are going to be trying to block your view. So I think that's the gist of this whole elevation. Is there a reason why the stage is up high? Maybe it's easier for people to see to look upwards than to look forwards. If you're looking forwards, then it's more likely that your view is going to be obstructed by somebody in front of you. It's true, but like if this is above your eye level, then you obviously can't see what's going on. So, I think really they're just too close. Back the fuck up, guys. Like, why are you so close? Does it have to be higher? So now if you're farther away, does being higher help you? Just kind of give you like this, a nice perspective, like you're observing something from on high. Kind of like it. It's not a bad idea. This is why they have like 2 decks, right? It's like an upper and lower deck, and they're kind of these, you can go essentially seating underneath other seating, and that doesn't block the views. That's pretty genius. But that would also be very hard to construct. Now in a warehouse or something, you definitely wouldn't have enough space for this. But what you could do is just build risers. So forget upper level seating. We're trying to turn a warehouse into a little like dinner theater. Then we could have different. Well, so I'm trying to like think back to this thing here, because we're kind of thinking, need to think in different dimensions, but this could be potentially, I think maybe, do I want to squish this? The bounding box is way down here. I don't know what's going on there, but making this bigger, we could have a rectangular stage. Be kind of weird. You gotta think about like how big are these how big is the stage and how big are the tables? I can't even see this thing. And what shape are the tables, and are they for 2 people, or I bet there's so many like rich people events like this that are planned, and you have people that are like thinking this whole thing through, and it's been done like a million times before, and I'm wasting my time even thinking about this. I should be going to get beer from the store, right? That's not what I wanted to do. I don't know. I mean, I don't see how rectangular tables can go around a curved stage that easily. So what if the stage was just freaking rectangle? But also it's more like this is the seating area, and this is small stage that goes here or something. People in the corners are going to have a harder time. You could just have like, I don't know. See, I was thinking you could have risers in the back. So maybe you just have kind of a level 1. Yeah, I mean, these long tables are kind of what it's like at that medieval times place. In fact, medieval times has got a really unique setup. It is a dinner theater. I can't even describe it right now. I could try and find an image. Let me see. Medieval. It's a chain, right? Medieval times. They do the jousting stuff. It's kind of interesting. It's that's a terrible image. Was this copied too early? Let's try again. No, I'm just zoomed way out. But yeah, it's got kind of these long tables that are in like stadium format. It was actually a really pretty decent way to do it. Servers could walk in between. Don't remember if I had legroom issues. I don't actually remember, because it looks a little like, I don't know. But you could do a lot of stuff with a setup like this. Putting sand in the middle where it's all dedicated to only medieval times stuff, they're going all in with it. But having a table, so the table definitely wasn't very big, and I think the plates and stuff weren't very big, and so that definitely cuts down on the space required. And so it was a little crammed, not gonna lie. I kind of feel like having more space would be better for eating. But the long tables is kind of this idea, is like, how much front to back space do you need? You'd probably just want it half and half, right? So like if I duplicate this and make half of it darker, some of it would be for this chair, and you could slide in a little bit. Your legs could go half under, and you know, your body would be kind of like, your legs would be under the table. This is top down, obviously. Your butt would be back here, and oops, I didn't want that. I wanted one of these. Can I choose? No. Can I choose the color before I draw? No. I just have to select it afterwards. It's not really the color I want, but that'd be like your head or whatever. And I don't know, so I'll just leave that here. Okay, so I want it. We don't even need this though. We're just setting out. Okay, so then you could have a tier 2 and tier 3. I don't know, are these, you have to step up a couple stairs to kind of get to these levels? That's kind of what I was thinking. These do wrap around a bit. Is this straight up or is this on an angle? I don't know. You have to like draw this all out and figure it out. But I think you could actually just build like some, wooden platforms that probably have some handrails on them or something, so that people don't fall. But set it up so that you could have a bunch of people come and eat. But I mean, it's not a very communal way to do it. I guess if you're watching a show, you're not really talking though. This would be the stage up here, so they're kind of, everyone's got a decent view. And then I was thinking I could interview people, like, and I mean, well, should we eat too? Probably not. I don't know if an interview is a good setting for like a dinner theater. Yeah, probably not. Now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, I do think there's opportunities for like small scale dinner theaters, like just putting on some sort of performance or debate or experience, or we went to that mystery. There's like some sort of crime or something that was all acted out, and they were good, but it was kind of interesting, but it was in a kind of weird setting and just wasn't really feeling it. It's a business. It was for my wife's business. All right, we're gonna get off this one. The indoor swimming fountain, though, I do think is kind of a cool idea. I was envisioning it as like a massive. It should probably just be its own note. Can I drag this and drop it over here? Not when it's modal, so I need to go. I think the default view automatically opens these differently, and I think I want this to be a new note, and then I think it was these. I think this was over here, but like, am I now splitting this up into parts that I can reference it? Indoor swimming fountain. Wasn't there more to it? I mean, is this all this stuff about all you can eat and laundry and, it's basically a hotel? This kind of doesn't make sense without the hotel part. But yeah, I mean, building big, nice places to go that can handle a lot of people at scale. So some examples of like big resorts I've been to would be Disney and Great Wolf Lodge. It's closer by. Or how about a cruise line? We're on Royal Caribbean. There are 2 B's, I think. No, you motherfuckers. Is it 2 R's? 1 R, 2 B's. Jesus, okay. So, these like all inclusive. It is kind of nice prepaying it and then not having to worry about what you're paying. I mean, in a way it's worse because you're definitely overpaying. So like, if you could figure out a way to make it kind of a la carte, I think that's the best pricing strategy. The problem is it discourages use, and so you don't want to discourage the use. Is a la carte better, or does this discourage use? I mean, when I added on the Steam room package for, it was like was it 150 or something for a week on Royal Caribbean? It was worth it, but a little pricey. The whole thing was really pricey. So 150 for something I actually enjoy a lot wasn't a terrible idea, but I was like, I felt obligated to use it. I usually go to the gym like 1 to 0 times per month, and so using it every day as I did was kind of crazy. Probably good for me. I enjoyed going to the gym more than paying $150 for the steam. But the steam it was nice. It was actually pretty nice to be in a steam room. I mean, it was sort of like a boiler room of like an old steamship or something. It was like deep in the belly of the ship. No windows, but that's kind of typical. It did seem to have proper ventilation. It did have proper ventilation. I definitely didn't feel like claustrophobic or anything. It was pretty nice. I actually enjoyed it a lot. I mean, those cruises are, when you have kids, they're a little bit like, you know, you just got to deal with your kids all day and not very relaxing, but all right, should I go get some beer? It's 9 o'clock. If I don't do it now, I may never. I don't even know why I started streaming, to be honest. Talking about a lot of bullshit right here. 2 hours later. Might just delete all these streams. But, maybe I'll be back and keep streaming. I don't know. I should probably pull open the chat so that if people drop in, I actually know whether there's somebody who's dropped in. Maybe I'd gain an audience member one by one. Probably not, because I'm just rambling. That's probably part of my problem, right? But they're really more for my own log to see what I'm working on, see what the kind of thoughts are going through my head, different points in my life, because Lord knows I'm not going to remember anything tomorrow. Having an experience right now about indoor swimming fountains. Also, let me see if I get Midjourney to illustrate something cool. I don't know why I have so many windows open. Midjourney. A young woman wearing an attractive Spider-Man costume. I don't know why I was thinking that. This is way too young. This is not a woman. Definitely a girl, but I guess a young woman is sort of... Alright, so imagine a large indoor pool resort with a large fountain, waterfall. What else? That's kind of what I was thinking for that. Steam room doesn't really need to be part of that, but it's sort of like a big open air atrium where there's like a lot of swimming areas. So one of the Disney parks had like a pretty large pool that just kind of seemed to wrap around this very large area and had like different sections and different structures, and I don't know if I can explain that to Midjourney. Let's just see what it starts with. I'm going to rerun this. I probably should turn off these stylized things, but it kind of just gives it some more variance. I guess we'll turn it off. I think it's these dials. Can we just reset all these? There we go. And then if I think I want to use the text and then submit and then rerun. Okay, now it's got the defaults again. I do think the 16 by 9 is a good idea, so I can use these as backgrounds on video slides. And ooh, the blue and orange is that's kind of crazy. I kind of like it, actually. That's kind of cool. Not sure I know what's going on with these lights up here, but the purple lights are kind of cool. They'd probably get old. You'd probably just want to do, I don't know, something that's more timeless. It's kind of relaxing. It's a lot of little stones. I think the stones are a little overwhelming. But the rocks are kind of calming. The bright, vivid lights are a little bit too much. I think that'd get old. But, I mean, it's... Why does that look so pixelated or something? The heck? Am I seeing things? Why does this look like a highly compressed image? Are these... Maybe these are not fully... Is this not 100%? I'm so confused right now. Let me throw this in Figma and see what happens. So at 100%, that's control 0, right? Yeah, 100%. That's it. It looks like shit. This is a way better quality image, and that's pretty compressed. That's crazy, man. What's going on? Yeah, this is way better quality. At least in some ways. This is really pixelated, too. I think maybe the 16:9 is giving it a hard time. I've never known it to do that before, but this is really blurry. I mean, it's sort of doing its job. Maybe I need to go roll back the version to... those are higher resolution and crisper looking. Yeah, I mean, having an idea for kind of what you're looking for, and then having somebody who can help you browse, like, and just pick shit out of a catalog. Man, we're getting to a point where people are going to be... Why are these people, like, have half bodies there? That's crazy. But yeah, that's a cool fountain. I was thinking something, yeah, real big and kind of like a... This is pretty crowded. You don't want it to be crowded. Well... It could be. You could have like poolside concerts or whatever. I'm pretty sure there's places that do that. What are some of the coolest poolside concert venues? No images. Yeah, like I would imagine. I mean, that just looks like chaos. You don't really want to go swimming when there's that many people around. So yeah, I mean, I guess a concert is, like, probably not a good spot for a pool party. It's not really a place to dance or get messed up. Swimming fountain is what I started with. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty big, this kind of fountain-like and kind of like a, I don't know, would you want to swim in front of all the people at the hotel? I did say a resort. This in the forest scene is actually pretty badass. The big windows and, like, if you were overlooking like some nice scenery, that'd be a really nice setup there. There's probably a million places in the world where you can just get a really nice view and build a nice big windowed resort where there's rooms and pools and, well, daycare, right? Shouldn't daycare just be like a kind of a standard where you get to drop your kids off and know that they're going to be taken care of? I don't know. It's maybe not such a given that it's going to be a good system, because there's a lot of things to keep track of, and if everyone's running their own, like, daycare, then it's probably not going to be a good daycare. It's more like an activity or like a camp or like a, yeah, it's just sort of like a group, right? It's not really like a full-time. Well, if you're going to spend a weekend or a week away at a place and try and just either get something done or try and get in shape or just hang out and play something or do something. This is in the winter forest, like on a mountain or something. That's pretty cool. Yeah, dude, these nice wooden beams and all the windows, that's pretty badass. This could be like a hot tub. Now, I'm kind of thinking like the smaller settings where you might actually know the other people at one of these things could be kind of cool. Although, I don't know, do coworkers want to get in the pool with each other? Probably not. That's probably like a weird thing where you're like, hey, I don't know if I want to see you in a bathing suit. Yeah, this AI is kind of regressing. It's like doing some weird shit where like you don't even know. I mean, it's always kind of done that, but I just don't know. I don't know enough about what it's doing in the background. It's doing some really remarkable things. Like the fact that it can draw, like, is it just copying parts of different images? Or is it's doing some sort of, like it's drawing plants. Like I'm pretty sure it's drawing all these leaves, like in an actual legit way and putting plants, like the layering of objects behind other things. Like it actually doesn't mess that up usually, which is crazy. Well, it doesn't always, it kind of does. Well, there's half people in some of these. I'm not saying it always gets it right, but a lot of time it's like, wow, that's crazy. Like maybe it's seen another image that's got a lot of the same stuff, but the over-unders, I think I'm actually kind of impressed with because it could mess it up more. I guess maybe sometimes it doesn't matter. Yeah, actually, isn't this off a little bit over here? Isn't there something weird going on there? Like, what is this green thing that... I don't know, maybe not. It just looks a little... Okay, this chair fades away right there. What is this back here? I don't know. It gets weird. AI is kind of weird. Not gonna lie. It'd be cool to build a place, though. You could create like one of these old Roman bathhouse experiences. That's really what it's about, is like a whole experience, right? What if there was a bunch of people there that you could meet that could just like, you know, well, and even for the kids, like if there's a cool experience where like the staff was just very entertaining, and it's kind of what Disney World with all the characters that come out, although they don't talk to people, which is kind of creepy. But yeah, you could have... you could set up all kinds of resorts where, you know, your staff are encouraged to like get to know the guests and interact with them, and you know that's what keeps them coming back if they enjoy the experience. It could be hard to, like, if you do this at scale where there's thousands of people, then it probably, I don't know, does it take some of the value away from it? It probably needs to be priced in a way where only rich people are coming. I mean, for some of these, it's probably not a bad idea. Make it pretty expensive, but also worth. Now you could start with a pretty basic setup where it's not that expensive. And that's kind of what I was thinking for the studio hotel thing. Is that I could potentially build one where it's just a very low cost hotel, and then I also have like a studio so that people could come and hang out. And I mean, I could set up like a gym and, you know, make it like a really nice place to hang out, and it'd be kind of like an office for me, but also like a, you know, nomadic workers could come and hang out there. And if it was affordable, if you get a room for like, even if you could like live there, kind of rent an apartment there, maybe it's a small room, we have a shared kitchen so you can eat good food, don't need your own kitchen so you can keep the price down. I think that could be kind of cool. It's kind of weird. She's got creepy eyes. Not sure what her hands are doing. It's kind of interesting. Charlotte's Web or something? I don't know. Weird. Dragons slaying unicorns. Sorry, Midjourney, no unicorn on this one. Kind of a small dragon and I guess that it's a unicorn. It's not slaying it though. This is weird. There's like a troll on the unicorn and no face on that guy. Alright, I'm gonna go get some beer.